What if I told you that nearly 300 years of history never happened? That everything you know about the early Middle Ages, Charlemagne, the year 1000, even parts of the Roman Empire could be an elaborate fabrication? This is the phantom time hypothesis, a theory so strange, so unsettling, that many historians won't even dignify it with a response. But if it's true, it could mean we're not living in the 21st century, but somewhere in the 18th. Let's rewind history and take a closer look. The theory was first proposed in 1991 by Heribert Illig, a German historian. According to Illig, nearly 297 years of history, from AD 614 to 911, were fabricated, manufactured, inserted into the timeline, deliberately. In this phantom period, great events supposedly took place. The reign of Charlemagne, the rise of the Carolingian Empire, and the foundation of modern Europe. But Illig argues that none of it actually happened. His theory suggests that the Gregorian calendar reform, introduced in 1582, doesn't align properly with actual astronomical observations unless you remove about 300 years. Why the gap? According to Illig, this massive deception was orchestrated by Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and possibly the Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII. Their alleged goal, to place themselves at the symbolic year 1000 AD and rewrite history to legitimize Otto's rule. Charlemagne, he argues, was a myth, a composite of earlier rulers, inflated and idealized to give Europe a glorious past that never really existed. This wasn't a minor forgery. It was a full-scale alteration of time itself, and somehow, we never noticed. So what evidence supports this bizarre idea? Illig points to inconsistencies in medieval architecture, claiming there's a suspicious lack of archaeological findings from the supposed 7th to 10th centuries. He argues that records from this period are scarce, repetitive, and too convenient, almost as if they were copied or invented. There's also the calendar problem. When Pope Gregory XIII reformed the Julian calendar in 1582, 10 days were dropped to realign with the solar year. Illig claims that the amount of time corrected doesn't match the historical drift, unless 297 phantom years are removed. Another oddity, technological stagnation. Nearly 300 years pass, but humanity seems strangely still. No major innovation, few major wars, a historical fog, coincidence or cover-up? Mainstream historians have, let's say, not embraced the theory. First, there's dendrochronology, tree ring dating. It doesn't support a 300-year gap. Neither does radiocarbon dating or astronomical records from other civilizations like the Chinese or Islamic scholars. Furthermore, countless documents, structures, and artifacts do exist from this period. And Charlemagne, well, he left behind laws, coins, buildings, and a legacy so large it's hard to fake convincingly. Still, skeptics argue that history is often written by victors and sometimes entirely rewritten. Despite the lack of academic support, the phantom time hypothesis has captivated the imagination of conspiracy theorists, skeptics, and time-bending thinkers around the world. Why? Because it taps into something primal, the idea that reality may not be what it seems, that entire centuries could be fabricated, and we'd never even notice. In an age of digital forgeries and deepfakes, is it really that hard to imagine rewriting the past? So, what if the year isn't 2025? What if we've been living a lie, a glitch in the calendar? Was it a hoax, a miscalculation, or the greatest historical cover-up of all time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And remember, history isn't always what it seems.